So there are a few things that Korean Zombie can do to win this fight, and one thing I think is really important is the long, stiff jab. He threw this a lot when he came back after a year's layoff. He did a lot of fencing in the past, and you can really see it in his fights. He starts to use that jab to push his opponent back, and then he feints it in order to get the counter. He'll throw like an uppercut, sometimes he'll roll and throw a hook. Either way, he's pushing him back with that jab, really judging the distance, and then when they come in, he can hit the counter, and he has really powerful shots from there.
Good stuff. For Dan Ige, I think that he should mix his wrestling in this fight, and there's something he did really well in his fight with Edson Barboza is he stepped through a right hand into a clinch. And so essentially he's right here, and when he throws this right straight or the right overhand, he'll step in after he makes contact and drop that punch into an underhook here. He can walk his opponent to the fence just like he did Edson, get to a body lock here, he splits the legs, gets the lift and a takedown. I'm not gonna take Angela down, she's got to fight.
Thanks.
But if the body lock doesn't work, he already has this underhook here, and we saw Brian Ortega have success against Korean Zombie with the single leg. So if the body lock doesn't work, you could drop down to the single, bump the leg up. So you got a couple good options from there.
Quick finishes for these men. It could go to the distance and be a heck of a fight, or it could be over early because they both get it done with the quickness at times.
Yes, I'm really excited to see how it plays out. It would be a shame for it to end really quickly just because I think that these guys can bring out the best in each other. Ige does have a very similar style to Korean Zombie where he goes in for the firefight. He's not afraid to throw punches, and he's not afraid to stand in boxing range. But the question is, how long can either of their chins last if they do get into that phone booth fight?
Yeah, if it becomes a war of attrition, it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. I have a pick for that, but we can get to that later. But look, this outside of that, this has big implications for the division. I mean, whoever comes out on top in this main event is ultimately going to get catapulted to the top of the heap and really in the title conversation. I think particularly for Korean Zombie because he's got so much star power. But I think that Dan Ige could take his shine if he gets his hand raised. Only one thing left to do is let these guys sort it out and fight.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one, and an absolutely monster fight for Dan Ige. He enters this still with a chip on his shoulder. You remember him competing in the Contender Series. He didn't get the contract despite a win. He has to go fight again, eventually earns that UFC contract, and since has become the first Contender Series alum to headline the card. Once again, he's in the main event, and on the cusp, if he can win this, from becoming top 5 in the division.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.